Welcome into the In the Money podcast for Wednesday, April the 10th. Tom Leach, along with Jim Goodman, Keeneland's Director of Wagering Development. No stake on the Wednesday card, so we'll just take a look at the late pick four that starts in the fifth race with a 1 mile turf allowance, non-winners of two other than. Where did you land in the fifth?
Well, I think the best bet here is the Peter Miller horse. Peter brought a horse from Santa Anita last week and won a stakes race, and I'm sure this horse is on the same flight. Keep Quiet, the sixth horse, is my choice for Peter Miller and Joel Rosario. Probably facing a little better than this at Santa Anita, although they weren't big fields. The last one was an 11-horse field, and caught a good turf course. So that turf course wasn't the normal kind of firm that you see at Santa Anita. So with the rain there, and the horse can handle a good turf course, so I don't think that'll be a problem shifting from the Santa Anita grass to the Keeneland grass. And Peter Miller's a great trainer, and this is the first time he's brought some horses here in a while, so I think this horse is live. I think Cullum Road for Gaffleone and Maker is live. I think another for Mott and Ortiz, and Bond Street, the three for Jimmy Graham, second North America. First race kind of got one under his belt, and this horse was competitive in little stakes races in Great Britain and Ireland. So when we get to the pick four, I'm going to go probably four deep in here, but Keep Quiet, the six, is my choice.
Ended up going to Magic Tappet off that last race, a huge buyer jump up to a 102, and it was off a little bit of a layoff, and I thought that was maybe a wake-up for this horse, and if so, then anything close to that number is going to be awfully tough in here. Horse ran okay, and it's only turf start, and this is Roger Atfield, sharp trainer. So I'm going to go Magic Tappet in here for the barn of Roger Atfield. But I've got Keep Quiet and another high on my list. No Brag, Just Fact, I think has run well here before. So I would consider this was a sequence I thought that was hard to find a single. So I had to make some tough decisions. But Magic Tappet's going to be my win pick there. Moving on to the sixth race, I like Daydreamer a lot, the sixth horse. Lifetime best effort in the last, claimed by Eddie Keneally, and 37% win rate on the claim for that barn. So Daydreamer I like a lot in there in that 6 furlong claimer. Halley's Hero, Trapezoid, Big Iron are the other ones I had written down. Don't like Daydreamer enough to single, but that's the one I like in there. How about you?
Well, some days we pick alike, and some days we don't. I got a single in here, and it wasn't any of the three horses that you mentioned. It's Not Away, the third, the three horse.
Interesting.
This horse is dropping. I like horses coming from Oaklawn. The horse has a progressive buyer pattern the last three races against much better horses. So, an optional 50,000 claimers at Oaklawn Park. Horse is 2 for 9 at the distance. If you go back, the horse ran at Kentucky Downs. The horse ran at Arlington in the stakes race. So he's kept good company. He hasn't won a lot. He's only won 2 races, but this is 4 non-winners of 3. So the horse fits the conditions exactly. There's a chance they might just be trying to give the horse away, but the horse shows pretty good form the last 3 races. Raced on the 17th of March and 17th of February, so the spacing is correct. So I really like Not Away in here. I think the horses that you mentioned are good, but they haven't been racing against better horses. So I'm going with a class in here, and it was hard for me to find a single as well, but that's going to be my single when I get to pick 4.
Seventh race is another 1 mile turf allowance, this one for fillies and mares, and this is a race where I found it hard to narrow down. I couldn't end up going as deep as I wanted on my pick 4 ticket, but who did you land on in the seventh?
Yeah, I've got 5 of them in here. I thought this one was a coin toss. I thought that this is probably there was an argument on Twitter last night about what is a good betting race. And there were guys that were saying, well, it's a wide open race. There were other guys that were saying, no, it's a race where you got a big favorite that you can beat. That's a good betting race. I think this is a good betting race because you got a favorite in the lead. It's probably going to be the favorite off Shug McGahee and Jose Ortiz. But the horse hasn't run since September of 2018. So I think this horse is very vulnerable here. And when we get to the pick 4, I'm going to go 5 deep in here. I'm going to go Carta Bianca, the French horse for Atfield, and you mentioned him as being a quality trainer, first North America. His stats aren't good, but I think this horse fits off his French races in the lead. The 4 you got to use. Valentine Wish at 8-1 for Rosario and Vicky Oliver. She usually jumps up and gets a couple races in the Keeneland meet, and I think this horse fits coming out of the 2 stakes races at Gulfstream. Bonnie Arch the 6 for Ian Wilkes, and Dynatel the 8 for Mike Denny, who's a very low-profile trainer, but this horse ran big last October here at Keeneland, so I always take a horse that has won over this course. So wide open race, I wouldn't blame anybody for going all in here.
Ended up taking Contributing the 3, and it was, I just kept looking around and didn't find anybody I particularly loved, and I thought this is just the 4th start for Brad Cox for this horse, and my first instinct was, well, this horse has just been running short, but thinking the 4th start in the new barn, maybe Cox is thinking this horse has some potential to stretch out that wasn't tapped into before. So this one's been very consistent, and I'm going to try Contributing for the win. But I've got She's Pretty Lucky, Carta Bianca. I know when we interviewed Roger Atfield for the Today at Keeneland show, he thought that this one had a lot of upside for the rest of this year. In the lead, Bonnie Arch, Dynatel. I wrote all of those down for consideration in this race. It's a tough spot to try to narrow down. 8th race is a 25K claimer going 6 furlongs. I took Buggy Brown, the 9. This is kind of an ambitious move up the scale for trainer Tom Amos, and he wins 34% on newcomers to his barn. And I like that Giroux stays in the saddle after riding for a previous trainer of this horse. So Buggy Brown is the one I landed on here, but I like the 3 Big Bella Brown. I like the 2 Parade Blue, and then a couple of horses dropping, the 5 Unbridled Outlaw, the 1/5 Title, worth considering as well. How about you?
You could do the Big Brown Exacta here.
That's right.
Big Bella Brown's out of Big Brown, and Buggy Brown's out of Big Bad Leroy Brown. That's a mouthful of B's, but that's once again I didn't use the 9 horse in here, so if your Big 4 hits, you're gonna have some prices, and mine's a little more chalky, I guess. But I went 5 deep in here and didn't use your horse. I thought this Title here for Ian Wilkes had a good shot. I think Parade Blue, the 2 for Eddie Canelli. I did use Big Bella Brown as one of my choices, and probably my top choice would be Unbridled Outlaw. Didn't run a step at Gulfstream, but has been in the money a couple times already this year and ran really well the first 2 races at Gulfstream. I'm going to draw a line through that 60,000 stakes race, and this horse is dropping for 25, lowest it's ever been in. So Unbridled Outlaw has a shot. And then the other horse I use is Griff, just because of Luis Saez. Luis Saez has been riding really well. He's due for a couple of good days at Keeneland. So after I look at Buggy Brown, the horse has good form, and I like Giroux. So it's one of those others I could go deep in here. So it is a very tough sequence for a Wednesday.
What about your pick 4 ticket?
Okay, pick 4 is I did single the second leg. So first leg I got another Bond Street, Keep Quiet, the 6, and Magic Tappet. I did use your 8 horse that you liked in there. So 2, 3, 6, 8. And then I singled the 3 Not Away in the second leg. Then the 5 horses we talked about in the third leg, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8. And then in the last 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. So I'm 4 by single, by 5 by 5. So that is a $50 ticket.
I am going 3 in the first leg, 2, 6, and 8. Daydreamer is the one I like a good bit in the second leg, but I'm also going to add 2 others. So I'm going to go 4, 6, and 9. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the 7th. 2, 3, 9 in the last. So $54 for 50 cents, just kind of spreading around and not finding anybody I could really narrow down too much in that pick 4 sequence. So we'll see how it plays out with some different opinions here on the front and the back end of this late pick 4 for the Wednesday card. Best of luck on your Wednesday wagers, and we'll be back Thursday for another edition of the In the Money podcast.